Now in this video, we prove the quotient rule of derivatives. Now this is up here, this is the quotient rule. The quotient rule says that the derivative of f over g is equal to, in the numerator, f prime times g minus f times g prime. And the whole thing is divided by g squared. Now, why is this formula true? So we're going to prove it. Now, to do so, we're going to need two rules that we already know. One is the product rule, and the next is the chain rule. Right? So first, let's rewrite the derivative that we are interested in. That is the derivative of f over g. And I'm just going to write f over g as f prime times 1 over g. Right? So I'm going to bring in the product rule. And by the product rule, I know that this must be equal to f prime times the second factor in the product plus f times the derivative of the second factor, and that is the derivative of 1 over gx, right? So this is simply the product rule. I've simply used the product rule here. Now, the thing we have to now determine is this derivative. This derivative is the derivative of 1 over g. d dx of 1 over g of x. How are we going to evaluate this? Now we're going to use the chain rule. Let us introduce u to be equal to g of x. Right? So then by the chain rule, this is the derivative of 1 over u for u equal to g of x times du dx. Right? So you have to see this as u. So u is here. So now we are going to apply the chain rule to find this derivative. Now what is the derivative of 1 over u? That one we know, it must be minus 1 over u squared. And now we have to take du dx. What is du dx? Du dx is just d dx of g of x. Right? And that is going to be equal to g prime of x. I'm going to put a minus sign in front, and I know that there must be a u squared below, but u is simply g of x. So I must have g squared of x in the denominator. So finally, we're going to, so let me remind us that now down here we have used the chain rule. This is how we get the expressions here. So finally, when I substitute all this back in here, I find that d dx of f of x over g is equal to f prime of x over g of x plus f prime of x times the result here, and this is minus g prime of x over g squared of x. And now write this in the common denominator g prime of x, right? So common denominator. Therefore, I will have on top f prime times g of x. Bring the minus sign out. And in the numerator in the second term, I have f times g prime of x. That's it. This proves the quotient rule. So to prove the quotient rule again, I have to use the product rule, then the chain rule.